Hey guys, welcome to Now, Adam.
And I'm Bruce.
And hey, boy, PC gaming is just the pits, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, you spend an even 20 grand on a brand new PC, and it can't even run Doom at 800 frames per second.
That's bullshit!
Shame,
I
really.
mean, it can some of the time, but the piece of shit drops to 790 FPS when you watch 4K video on another monitor and encode 4K video on the other monitor.
What's the point?
And you got 4K porn running on the remaining 3 monitors. It can't run 6 monitors 4K, 800 FPS Doom. Stupid!
So anyway, fear no more, ye downtrodden PC gamers. Vulcan is here to save the day.
So Bethesda announced earlier this week that Doom now officially supports Vulcan, which means the game will now run better on tons of PCs.
Yeah, but how much better, Bruce?
Eurogamer's Digital Foundry calls the patch a PC performance game changer, which is a promising thing to hear.
Game changers are always
Yeah.
good. Yeah, their early tests show FPS performance gains ranging from 5% to a whopping 40%,
Whoa.
depending on which video card you are using. Those are some mighty fine numbers for what amounts to a free upgrade. Mighty fine indeed.
So what is Vulcan, Lawrence?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Timmy.
My name is Bruce.
Yeah, whatever. Vulcan is a 3D graphics and compute API, which are words that I treasure saying. Essentially, that's nerd talk for the layer, like the programming layer in between a video game engine and the actual hardware it runs on, the metal, as they call it, the silicon and whatnot. Basically, the game engine will ask the hardware to do things, render out a level, compute physics, play sound, stuff like that. And Vulcan is the interpretive layer that figures out how to actually deliver those requests to the hardware, and then it takes what the hardware gives back and delivers it back to the game engine in a way that it can actually understand. So it's kind of like a little butler inside your computer. A little digital Mr. Belvedere.
He died.
Good reference.
Yeah.
Very timely.
That show got canceled, man.
They're going to reboot it, man, and then that reference is going to be on point.
So until now, that has largely been OpenGL or DirectX instead of Vulcan. Two things you may have heard about before. Vulcan's a new ship.
Yeah, it's been getting a lot of buzz. So why is that, though? A, it's more efficient.
Okay.
Without getting too much into the weeds here, talking about the technicals, Vulcan is designed from the ground up to support multiple CPU cores.
Yeah, until now, game APIs are largely evolved from code bases that run on single or very few CPU cores. That kind of stems from the old x86 machines. For example, if you run any old game, take a look at your system performance, you probably find that it's maxing out a few CPU cores while the rest really they're just kind of sitting there, not doing anything.
Hey, how you doing? That's because existing game APIs don't really know how to intelligently distribute game computing across multiple cores.
Yeah, but Lawrence, Vulcan can, right?
Yes, that's the whole point. That's why it was made. It's essentially the spiritual sequel to OpenGL, which has been powering a lot of games for the last 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And that means it removes one of the biggest bottlenecks when it comes to game performance in PC gaming today. It's kind of frustrating because you've got a lot of awesome shit in your computer that most games can't even use. But soon they will. Because mostly they are either coded for a console, which has a relatively small amount of cores, as opposed to the 8 or 12 you have in your PC that largely just kind of sit there and do nothing.
Do
Yeah.
nothing.
Stupid cores.
Cores come back.
They're so stupid.
Cores come back.
Anyway, admittedly, the current list of games that support Vulcan is pretty small. Right now, it stands at Doom, Dota 2, and Crow Team's The Talos Principle.
I like that game.
I like the clapping.
I did. Well, I was.
You got laser beams, you got to point them at things.
However, many prominent game engines support the API, including Valve's Source 2, id Software's id Tech 6, and Epic Games' Unreal Engine 4.
Those are quite some beasts in the gaming industry. So now, if you follow PC gaming news at all, you may be wondering, isn't this what Microsoft has been saying about DirectX 12?
Well, it is. Actually, it's pretty much exactly the same thing.
Oh, tell us more, Lawrence.
Yeah, Vulkan and DirectX 12 are both compute APIs that introduce, I love these phrases, dynamic scaling across multi-core computers. And similarly, they solve the same kind of bottlenecks in gaming.
Okay.
The difference is that Vulkan is OS agnostic. It's, the extension of OpenGL, which was open source, ran on pretty much anything.
Even Linux?
Even Linux.
What about Ubuntu?
Also Ubuntu, provided a game developer wants to actually make it for that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But Microsoft has locked DirectX 12 support to Windows 10.
Got it.
So because of this, I expect that more mid-range developers will probably develop on Vulkan since it's cheap and open. Whereas the higher-end developers that can actually afford all the support costs will probably opt for DirectX 12. Microsoft is typically pretty good about development support. So let's say you're a developer and you hit a snag with some API, some like code call that's not working right. If you're on Vulkan, you just got to trawl around the internet, asking some forums, figure it out yourself.
Got it.
If you're leasing support from Microsoft, you just send them an email. They write you back 24/7 support. They might fly a guy out there to get it working. So it's just about where the budgetary dividing lines go.
I want a guy.
You want a man? Microsoft man?
Just one in my life.
MS bro?
So as always, we ask a question here. What does this mean to you?
I don't know.
viewer.
Adam, you tell him.
Well, if you're gaming on OS 10 or Linux, you may soon get PC gaming performance to rival that of Windows machines.
Whoa! But if
Yeah.
you want to make sure you're running the newest, fanciest code bases, you should probably just upgrade to Windows 10.
Yeah. In case those ever so helpful update pop-ups haven't sold you on the prospect already, or the burnt-in watermark on the bottom right. What does that mean?
So sit tight, PC gamers. With Vulcan support rolling out, you may be able to save that yearly $10,000 upgrade.
Yeah.
But fuck that. This is PC gaming. We love spending money on new and dumb shit, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, I already got an Oculus and I've used it for about 10 minutes. Wait, that Lucky's Tale.
Sure.
That's a killer.
Why put one video card in your system when you can have two
Or
that
8?
do nothing?
And then also your headset.
Yeah, and then the NVIDIA will just release one card that outperforms both those cards for half the cost.
Seriously though, I'm probably gonna buy that 1080 just so everybody's aware.
1080 is sweet.
I can't wait for that. Too.
Yeah, it's gonna be the best thing ever, like the Titan X. That lasted forever. We don't learn things here. We just keep throwing money into the stupid machine.
Console gamers, they need to know how stupid and poor they are. So let's just talk about more PC hardware, how cool it is.
They can't hear us because their dumb consoles can't render this episode.
Somebody in the comments are like, but Scorpio, Neo.
We're mocking everything.
Yeah, we are.
Because gaming's dumb.
As long as we can still play Talos Principle 2.
Adios motherfuckers are it's just a Long Island, except it's blue.
It's blue, yeah. I don't know.
It always amazes me when somebody finds a drink that's exactly like another drink, but they think they've discovered a new nation.
Well, they just put Curacao.
You gotta try it. Yeah, exactly. They
Well,
just make it
it's
a little more
also,
sugary.
it's my favorite thing when it's a really tall person, like, I don't get drunk, and then they just get blasted.
I'm really excited to lose more weight so I can get fucked up real fat.
All right, we got to start the show.
Show?
Guys, we should get a new office like in the top of a mountain in Denver or something.
Oh, then you get drunk even faster.
Get just fucking wrecked.